Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is Thursday, March 16th, 2017, and this is the Board of Selectmen's meeting. First up on our agenda, and we have almost like a July-August agenda here. It's great. First up on our agenda is Wilder Road culvert discussion and vote on vote to going out to bid. You might know that there was a request made to have an individual from Fish and Wildlife come out to look at the culvert, the Wilder Road culvert, which was done last week or so, and I'll let Mr. Lowe sort of just briefly summarize that meeting.
So Tim Chory from Fish and Game came out to take a look at the culvert and make any recommendations he may have. All the recommendations that he had were relative to how the stream will flow under the culvert once the work is done, some improvements that could be done as far as rocks and boulders and the possible removal of a couple of stone walls. He had no suggestions for changing any of the plans of the culvert and pretty much concurred with everything that we've been discussing. So it was good to hear that type of reinforcement. So we are ready to 99.9% ready now to go out to bid, because one of the recommendations I'll be making to the selectmen tonight is to include the recommendations that Tim made from the site visit, which is already documented, and tweak the specs just to include that. It's very little work, won't have any impact on the bid process at all. So what we're looking at is, if the Board of Selectmen approved to move forward tonight to go out to bid, we will be on the Central Register March 29th. We'll have a bid opening date of April 25th. With any luck, we can do the bid award and sign the contract in about a week if everything checks out. Then the culvert itself will take about 5 weeks to actually build. And we are altering our plans slightly. We had originally thought that we would probably start shortly after July 1st, but if the road is still closed, then we can get to work right away. And it would seem that we could have the culvert done early June, maybe late first week, early second week of June as an estimate right now. So we're ready to go, and so my recommendation to the Board of Selectmen is that we accept all the recommendations from Mr. Chory and authorize the DPW to go out to bid for the culvert tonight.
Okay. Now, unfortunately, we're talking about the Wilder Road culvert. There's also the Berlin Road culvert, which also needs to be done.
There is. I mean, I would take it as it was a, the selectmen effectively in their vote last September grouped both culverts in. So
right. That's why I'm making clear.
if you authorize one, to me it's the same as authorizing the other,
Okay.
and we can get out to bid for both culverts on the same time.
So I'm fine with that. I don't think at this point that we need any further discussion, particularly on the vote. So if someone has a comment to make, we'll take one or two if it's pertinent after the vote. But I'll make a motion that we move ahead and vote on going out to bid for the two culverts, the one for Wilder Road and the one for Berlin Road that has been delayed. Martha, yes?
Excuse me, sir. Martha Remington, Chairman of the Bolton Historical Commission. For the record, I just wanted to commend Tim Feeler and the Bolton Historical Society for finally locating some documentation to date this culvert on Wilder Road, 1825. And it's in Esther Twitten's book, page 47. And it doesn't have much to do with replacement, except almost 200 years. It's done a pretty good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
I'll second. I just have a question, Don.
Sure.
Any other additional on a possible grant?
No news on the grant yet. The grant that Selectman Frank's referring to is when Mr. Chory was out. He said that there will be a new grant coming out, so new first time, so there's no history to go on here, but there'll be a grant coming out that would pay for design. It's already been designed for engineering, it's already been engineered, but it would pay for up to $100,000 in construction. So obviously, I know nothing about the details of the grant, but I'd be staying on top of it, and if it's something that we can utilize, we'll certainly go after it. I'll give the same qualifier that I give on every grant. Grants are very hard to get. There's no such thing as a sure thing. There's a $750,000 going to be made available for the entire state. And Tim said that there are somewhere between 3,400 and 3,500 culverts in the state. So clearly it's a long shot, but it's a long shot worth taking if we can get up to $100,000. So I certainly don't mind putting the work in to get that done. I just want to set the expectation that it would be a long shot, but we will absolutely pursue it.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, Harold, so you're all set with that.
Good night.
Not for discussion this evening. Harold, you might just want to stay a second. Not for discussion this evening because it's not on the agenda, but the advisory committee has adjusted their agenda for next Tuesday. There'll be some additional discussion on some contingency plans for the Wilder Road culvert. It has been determined
And the Berlin Road.
and the Berlin Road culvert, but it's been determined by the bus company that services the town of Bolton that the culvert is unsafe, and they are now refusing to drive the bus over the culvert on Wilder Road. Harold independently has made a decision or determination, and we'll have some discussion of that perhaps at next Tuesday's meeting, to close Wilder Road, starting in fairly near term until the culvert is done. So we're looking at approximately, I'm not finished, approximately 90 days that culvert will be, that road will be closed to traffic and only allow local people who live on that road to access it, but certainly the road will be closed.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just add that we're not concerned about the culvert at this very moment because we still got a decent amount of frost on the ground and nothing is moving. So Harold's determination will be made based on when the spring melt starts and we have the rains coming in and it's clear that we no longer have that
Right,
frost.
so it will be occurring at some point. Another item that will be on the advisory committees, or the joint meeting with the Selectmen Advisory Committee for next week, because the district has determined that they no longer want the kids driving over that bus. They're gonna have to use vans, substitute vans, in order to be able to turn around. And there will be some additional cost that will be borne on the town of Bolton for that duration of time. So that also will be discussed as an additional article to be put on the warrant for the annual town meeting. And then lastly, Harold has done some initial investigation that the cost of the culvert, because of the delay, might go up. And in looking at some various accounts that we have and the advisory reserve account, we may be able to absorb some of that, but we're not sure to the extent of what the cost increase might be. It might be nothing, but it might be something. And we may be discussing putting yet another article on the annual town meeting warrant to allocate additional funds to cover any additional cost because of the fact that we've waited almost a year now to get the culvert done. So there'll be potentially those three items and a discussion of what the costs might be. Again, well, I'm not going to give any specific figures now. It could be significant, which is unfortunately unanticipated. So if you're interested, please come to the joint meeting next Tuesday.
I have a question on the bid, actually.
Could you identify yourself?
Mark Ayotte from 985 Main Street. I have a question. We keep mentioning we're going to advertise, we're going to go on the central register, but Don, didn't you just go and get certified for combis? Why wouldn't you be putting this on combis on top of it?
We are putting on combis on top of it.
Okay, you didn't say that. You said central register, but
There's a
so it's
lot of
going to
places
be.
we're going to put it, I didn't name them all. but
Okay, so it's
Central
going to be
Register's
in
the joint.
we're going to advertise it obviously in the standard places we have to, but it'll be on combis also?
Yep. Well,
Okay.
actually, it's not also anymore, combis is required.
Okay, good. So I think the state's leading with combis over central register. Central register is minimalized.
Right, but they still require,
Combis,
Yeah.
yeah. So, okay, thank you.
All right? Yes, Mr. Rossadini?
Okay. Bob Rossadini, 123 Wilder Road. I guess I'm kind of the guy that started this because I wrote a letter 10 months ago, I believe on May the 13th, questioning the expenditure of $186,000 on that culvert when I felt it should be a lesser priority, namely have a less concerned about my family, friends, neighbors, citizens of the town being harmed by the collapse of that culvert as I am about all the dead trees that we have all over town. You know, in the past 6 months or so, probably 5 people have been killed by falling trees. I myself have had my car hit quite a while back. No great expense to me, company vehicle, in-house capability, we fixed it. But that to me is a real danger. I've lived on that property for almost 28 years, spent a lot of time in those woods. Very familiar with that intermittent stream that goes through there. And again, when I wrote my note, I offered some suggestions. Mr. Brown was very courteous, responded to my suggestions, gave me reasons why he thought they would not work. I spent a lot of time doing some research. You know, 10 months ago, this thing came to a head. Since that time, we have posted signs that say slow. A couple of them are no longer legible because the facing of them has been whipped around and you can't read it anymore. Today, I heard this business about the school bus contractor stating that they felt it was unsafe. Let me tell you, when I go out to get my mail, okay, I sure look both ways. In school buses, I do believe the posted speed is like 40 miles an hour. You got a school bus going by, chances are it's doing 35, 40, if not more, okay? The collapse of that culvert, the term has been used, imminent failure. We've had 2 engineering reports. If you read those reports, a reasonable person would not conclude that there's an imminent failure here. What those reports do is they clearly document the condition of that culvert. I spent 44 years in industry, okay, being responsible for as many as 22 hazardous materials facilities. I've read plenty of engineering reports. When an engineer thinks that you've got imminent failure, they make no bones about it, okay? None of those reports state that. Both of them, as a matter of fact, cite the biggest problem not being the flow of water through that culvert, but rather the percolation of surface water that comes down through the roadway itself and on both edges of the road. The drainage, water goes off, you can see the perk holes there. That washes out the fines that constitute the fill within
Mr.
that.
Rossadini, what is your point? We have voted to move forward to do the work on the culvert. The engineering reports are in, the opinions are done. I don't believe that this discussion adds any additional value.
Okay, I'm sorry. If I just may continue and I'll conclude, okay?
Make it brief, please.
I certainly will. I think that this business about this being driven now by all of a sudden, the school bus contractor doesn't want to drive his buses over that road. The point I'm trying to make is I do believe it is not a fair assessment that that road is in danger of imminent failure. Read the reports, okay? If anything's going to happen, you're going to have a break, perhaps, you're going to have a pothole. If people drove on that road at prudent speed, okay, you would avoid any sort of a problem. And I think if the town sits back, okay, I hate to say it, but I see a political agenda here, okay? We have 2 new selectmen. I've watched some of these proceedings. I've been here. I say to myself, and it's usually, I recognize I'm a minority here speaking, maybe a few other people might agree with me, but we always seem to be talking to the same people, and I don't understand why you two new selectmen don't say, how did we get here? We were elected, not by the 25 people in this room, we were elected by the majority of the people, who I think are saying, maybe we should do things a little differently, okay? I think Mr. Brown is a very creative person. I think that Mr. Brown would come up with a solution that would be expedient, would not impose any safety risks, and
Would not close the road.
We're done with the discussion, we're done with the discussion, the vote's been taken. If you want to understand why we've gotten here because of delays by the very two selectmen that you point out. That culvert was voted at town meeting to be replaced, unanimous vote, in last spring's ATM. And it has been delayed, you're perfectly aware of the reasons why it was delayed. So we're moving forward. I have no control of what the school district and the bus company has decided to do. I haven't even talked to any of them. So that's their...
has anyone in the town approached them with a reasonable position?
Mr. Lowe participated in the school committee meeting last night.
And I spoke with the bus company.
And you spoke with the bus company. That is not up for discussion this evening. If you want to put it on the agenda for a future meeting, you can certainly consider that. But Mr. Lowe attended a school committee meeting yesterday in which this was discussed. He spoke with the bus company. That is the school district's decision. So we are finished with this agenda. I am not taking any...
I sent an email a week ago
I am
about
not
plating
taking
this road.
I
and
am not
you did not
taking any
even
for-
reply to me as the chairman.
I am not
Neither
taking
did
it-
Mr. Lowe, and neither did Mr. Brown at the
Kindly,
DPW.
you have
about
been recognized.
plating this. Mark Ayotte from 985 Main
I am
Street.
not-
I
no,
sent
we're
an
done.
email a week ago. You
We're
guys did
done.
not even reply to me about plating this road, which would solve the
If
problem.
you continue
immediately.
to disrupt
Fine,
this meeting,
I will
I
leave.
will call the
I don't have a
police
problem.
department and have
Fine,
you
do.
removed.
Go ahead. So it's not right not to plate this road and fix it so it can still be used. And it's an easy plating job, it costs go ahead. Yeah, Brownie, go ahead. Yep. Oh,
This is not for discussion this evening. It is not on the agenda.
Well, we're gonna close the road, not even discuss what we could do to fix it, to
Wait.
temporarily make it so that we could still travel.
Next Tuesday, there's an
So it
agenda
won't be closed
item.
until next Tuesday.
There's an agenda item next Tuesday, the joint selectmen meeting and advisory committee meeting to discuss.
So it's not gonna be
the-
closed till next week, after that meeting? Is that what you're telling me?
I believe Mr. Lowe indicated that it is not going to be closed until Harold takes a look at it on the spring thaw. Right now, the ground is frozen, there's no need to close the road at the moment. We're done discussing this particular
Be
topic.
here next Tuesday. Stay here.
Fine, be here next Tuesday. Next up is a discussion regarding the cost of living adjustment, COLA. As you might have known, we've had some previous discussion about this, and what to include as far as the COLA goes for non-union employees. The vote on the recommended 2% cost of living increase was delayed to give time for both Mr. Freeman and Mr. Keith to review some documentation. I believe you have done that, Tom? Yes, I have. I don't believe you have any further questions on that? Okay, so I will take a motion. I believe the recommendation by both Mr. Lowe, our town administrator, and our HR director, Don Madden, was to go with 2%, which seems to be the overwhelming response based upon the information that they had. So I make a motion that we officially adopt 2% as the cost of living increase going forward, putting in for this year's budget. Okay. I'll second that. Do we have all those in favor signify by saying aye? Aye, thank you very much. Next up is review and approve the 2016 Board of Selectmen's annual report. We've had some back and forth on this, and I know that I made a recommendation to include both my comments as well as Mr. Frame's. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it, or if you're...
I sent out an email probably last Friday, and I did look at it. It's redlined. The one attached is redlined. You have a different deadline than I do. But this is in the package right there.
Okay.
That's your language on
Okay, yeah, so I think it's, I think we're fine, so it includes both.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the 2016 Board of Selectmen's annual report as attached.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. And last is due to a records request to approve and release the executive session minutes in response to a public records request, including October 20th, 2016, November 3rd, 2016, November 17th, 2016, and December 1st and December 15th, 2016. Those are here. I don't know if we need to
No.
take a look at them or not. Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve and release those executive session minutes for October 20th, November 3rd, November 17th, December 1st, and December 15th, 2016.
I'll move that.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Don, is there anything else?
No, there isn't, Mr. Chairman.
All right, then I will make a motion that we adjourn tonight's meeting.
I'll move that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Thank you very much, everyone.
New record.